Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Vino Volley, the podcast that speaks to those who enjoy sipping on a delicious vino while conversing about the beautiful game known as soccer. I'm your host, Michael Wall, and along with me on this journey is my co-host, Ryan Rebecki.
I'm here. I'm excited. I am thirsty.
All right, now, before we begin, I would like to address the elephant in the room regarding our use of the term soccer over football. All love to our listeners across the pond, but since here in the States we have another sport called football, for seemingly no affiliated reason, we will be using soccer to distinguish ourselves accordingly.
Yeah, I can't say football and not have it apply to the American version, the CTE-inducing version of football.
I did well for a while until there's a time where enough people just call you a pretentious asshole, and it
Right.
doesn't help like be like football while like sipping on a red wine. Like you just kind of look like a prick.
Yeah,
so,
plus like people don't want to think you're like
but I mean,
very bilingual if you really hit the football and then you're in a conversation and you don't speak Spanish and
but like let's be frank. It's
I'm gonna be Ryan.
I don't know how to respond to that. It is football.
It is.
Because, I mean, I actually looked up, like, why American football is called football, and no one actually really knows. They said that the closest was any sport that, like, used their feet was called football, or some stupid shit like that. Yeah.
I have no response to
Exactly.
Simpler times, different
I don't know what
times.
you would call it, but it's not for this podcast. So, what are we going to be discussing? Well, each episode, we plan on showcasing a different wine from around the world to be reviewed throughout the show as we take a deep dive into the world of soccer. This week's going to be real deep,
that. So deep.
and that'll make more sense once we actually get into the topic.
Deeper.
We will close each episode with our final score of the wine, as well as what we'll be drinking next episode, so listeners can drink along with us if they so choose. So to all our future and present Vino Volleyers out there, let's pop those corks, indulge in a healthy pour, and dive studs up into today's episode. All right, so before we get into today's topic, let's dive into which wine we'll be drinking today.
We are going to set the table with wine. Today, in this moment, we have the Vallée do Bonfim 2009 vintage. It is a Portuguese red blend consisting of 50% of a field blend. Is that like a proprietary blend? Like,
No, so
is this going to get me hard?
it might, but in Portugal, the some of the vineyards, the vines, they'll just grow different types of grapes together, so it becomes a field blend. Like it, when they harvest the grapes, it's a combination.
Life finds a way.
Dr. Ian Malcolm, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, it's the exact same as Jurassic Park except for grapes. But yeah, so that's. I mean, I could be making that up, but it sounds right.
Sounds right.
I read like 100 pages of a book, and I'm pretty sure that's what it said. So that's where that comes from. So what else we got going on?
We got a field blend, we got a Touriga Franca 30%, and then the Touriga Nacional 20%, which I know is one of your personal favorites.
Nacional is I think one of the staple grapes of Portugal. I usually like it to be the mainstay, but you know, anywhere it's added is never a bad thing.
Excellent. So red Portuguese wine here. I have wine.com. The description, a little 1 cent description. It is roughly around $15 to $16. The winemaker's notes say it's a deep ruby red color, dark fruit aromas with a distinctive rock rose floral essence with some background notes of pine.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Okay.
On the palate, there are fruit-forward ripe berries wrapped in a coat of spiced tannins that give the whole wine structure and balance. Mike, shall we?
We shall.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, big cherry.
Yeah, definitely on the front end. Little, I say bite, but I'm guessing that maybe is the franc, the little pepper. Or, I can't say that I'm getting any pine.
Not pine, spruce, fir, none of that.
Yeah, no balsam firs.
We'll see where it takes us.
It's early days, but first sip is a successful one.
All right.
So with that, and let me say the reason, as I always like to try to, cater the wine to what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
So the reason I chose a Portuguese wine is kind of leads into the discussion that we're going to talk about today. And so I want to paint a picture for you. All right.
I'm ready.
It's a beautiful 115-degree day in Qatar. Okay.
We are in Qatar.
We're in Qatar.
Qatar.
Cater.
What am I wearing? What are you wearing?
It's a picture.
Okay,
Don't
sorry.
get caught in the weeds, okay?
Okay.
It's a beautiful 115-degree day in Qatar. You're walking into a stadium built with slave labor.
It's a mild 115. Yes.
Mild, just a smooth 115, okay? Right?
Yes.
Walking into a stadium made of shipping containers, but made by slave labor, okay? You're about to step onto the pitch
Yep.
for a World Cup game,
I'm there.
but you got a shaved asshole.
How?
Yeah. So, which brings us to the effect
Okay.
that the bidet has on the national stage.
Okay. We're going. Okay. All right.
And again, as it comes full circle, the first time I ever test drove a bidet,
Yeah.
which was not a game changer, a life changer,
Okay.
was in Portugal.
All right. All right. So to make the connection here, the bidet's impact and effect on the game of soccer.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Where do we begin?
well, we're going to begin in Portugal. You take that country, and
Okay.
we know math's not our strong suit, but
Not a numbers
it's
guy.
not big, right?
It is. It's not big.
It's
No.
not big.
No.
And they produce some of the most phenomenal talent and, produce a team, a national team that is always in the hunt. And you talk about Ronaldo and you talk about the farm system, but what you don't talk about is how fresh and clean their buttholes are.
So you're saying there's a direct correlation between bidet and the anus and the quality of soccer player produced.
100%. Think about it. I mean, in your day-to-day life. Now, you,
Me.
as well as I,
Yep.
we now have bidets in our own home.
I am on the bidet life. Hashtag bidet life.
You really dug deep for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Tushy 2.0. Hopefully, future sponsor. But I don't poop anywhere else.
It's tough not to.
Now just think about that, all right? You've got a team
Okay.
that's like mountains of pressure,
Yep.
but they're fresh and clean.
They are.
They're not tied down by potentially coarse toilet paper. You
Nope.
can have the most plush toilet paper, but if you're, maybe having an off day, nerves,
Yep,
okay?
yep.
No bigger stage than the World Cup. Nerves, you're probably going a little more than
You're traveling. What does
travel.
the diet look like?
Forget the jet lag poops, like these Americans, they're just wiping their butts, wiping their cheeks with this 2-ply like a fucking savage.
Like a bunch of savages.
Exactly.
So let's take this back for a second here. All right, because I'm gonna loop this in with the success of Europeans.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Portugal. We're
I did.
drinking a Portuguese wine, and why the Americans have not been successful on the world stage.
I don't think as a country, I don't think we've fully embraced the power of the bidet.
No, I mean there's the South,
Yeah, that's not
which
happening.
there's nothing gonna happen down there. Because as we've talked about, every 4-year-old kid starts playing soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, sheer numbers wise, again, not a numbers
Not
guy,
a numbers guy, but
but
in general terms, we
terms.
have a lot more.
so many more people.
Yeah.
I could look up the population of Portugal. I'm not going to.
Right.
I'm not even going to guess because you know what? It's going to be
Way off.
wildly incorrect.
Incorrect.
But the idea that toilet plus bidet over in Europe better at soccer, there's a connection. We've drawn a relationship between.
I mean, there's the obvious tangibles, right? And tangibles.
Size.
We're in the intangibles.
height,
Okay.
speed,
I think it just not only like
dribbling.
the physical game, but the mental game. Okay. I go into the office once a week, and you know what pisses me off the most about it is having to sit on a goddamn toilet and wipe my ass like a fucking caveman when I could be home and flushing it out.
Yeah. Cleaning.
So I mean, we've got.
Spiritually, physically.
I would hope we have some players that have embraced it, playing across Europe. I don't think we have any players currently in the Portuguese leagues, but again, across Europe, the bidet is more widely accepted and used. But yeah,
is the UK on the bidet?
ooh, good question.
They're a pretty uptight bunch over there.
They do have a tight.
They don't even kiss their own wives.
That's purely speculation and by no means factual. We're just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they don't even hold hands. Everything's very official over there, but they don't show a lot of affection towards one another.
they do have.
Unless they're punching each other in the face in the pub.
I'm trying to think now if they have bidets. Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up. All right. So what say the internet?
All right, the internet says, and again, I'm not scrolling too far. Bidets fell out of favor and were ripped out primarily in the UK the same time as avocado bathroom suites. I'm assuming everything is green in color and there isn't like a big. I don't know.
I don't really need to go into too much detail on that part.
But you gotta figure. I mean, the UK, right? You're still on like archaic plumbing.
Yeah.
Like
There's
I just
a lot
assume.
I mean, they could again probably by that they've come close, but then you get to that semifinal, and that sphincter just tightens up, and all those fucking potatoes and that hard diet. You need a little pressure wash in the hole to really get you clean.
They have yet to catch on in the U.S. and the UK.
So,
I mean, enough said.
I mean, let's just say this, and this is a shout out to the U.S. men's national team. If you aren't pressure washing your culo,
Yeah.
fucking what are you waiting for, man?
What are you waiting for?
2026 is right around the corner. If you want to make a real run, it starts with your backside. Get it washed, get yourself a nice bidet towel,
Yeah.
and it'll open up worlds.
And just see where, I mean, this could be the start of something beautiful.
And I think it is beautiful.
I mean, the idea that, there's a direct correlation. There is
I find myself to be a happier human being.
I'm way happier.
Yeah.
I'm cleaner, both spiritually, physically,
Again,
mentally.
Tushy, that's Tushy 2.0.
And I don't know, I get 2 kids. They friggin' love it.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I've only scratched the surface because you turn that thing full blast,
Literally
damn
and figuratively?
near take the paint off your
Oh
house.
no, I wanna I wanna see like colors when I turn mine on.
I want to just.
I also
spitting.
didn't hook it up to the hot water. I'm running straight up cold.
You can hook it up to hot water.
Yeah, you just need the flexible pipe.
I'm doing cold water.
Yeah, so am I.
Every now and again, though, if it's like,
alive.
if it's right after someone's taking a shower, you're like, ooh, hey, it's a little warm, and then it blasts you with the cold. You're just like, oh,
Makes you feel alive.
oh, it'll wake you up.
It'll wake you up.
Talk about cold shower wake you up, cold bidet. It's better than a cup of coffee.
So we've done the science. There's no science. We've determined.
But what do they got to lose?
Nothing. I don't know. If anything, it's an increase in hygiene.
You guarantee you're gonna see fluidity, confidence. You're not gonna. There's no angst because it's just like, oh, hey, it's just feeling good.
And I guess pun intended. Wouldn't you shit if somehow the Tushy Bidet Company becomes a sponsor of the 2026 World Cup,
Dude.
and that's
what we could do.
That's it.
What we could do for this company. Small. I think they're just on Amazon, but they could be the next big thing. Like, move over Coca-Cola, Budweiser.
Yeah.
Tushy's in the game.
Again, the South is probably going to be out on it.
It's okay. It's not for everyone, and we don't. We just need our national team to get on board with it.
That is true.
All right. So look to Portugal.
Yep.
They got the right idea.
Yep.
They don't have the numbers, but they got the clean holes, and
That's true.
it shows on the pitch.
Direct correlation.
Direct correlation. So, yeah, something there. All right. Before we move on to our next topic, it has occurred to me that as this is our first episode, we probably should give a little backstory of who we are, why we're doing this, because otherwise, the fuck, why are you going to listen to us? So, I'll start with you, Ryan. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, what I would like you to do is kind of give us a little bit of history in regards to both your passion for wine, your passion for soccer, and how it's led you to being able to do this with me.
Awesome. Well, I have you to thank for the invitation to do this. Obviously we enjoy getting together, and you actually brought me back into the world of soccer after playing, growing up years and years and years. you kind of like rekindled the fire of watching soccer and kind of got me into following European soccer, and particularly Liverpool Football Club, and the idea that, you know, it kind of brought back the passion that I had when I used to play growing up. I've always been involved in the sport. I coached it at the high school level. I now coach both of my boys. One is 4, so I mean I don't know how much coaching is going on Saturday mornings at 7:30. And then I've coached my 9-year-old now. His travel teams, his in-town teams, you know, since he was 4. So I've always been involved in the coaching aspect of it, but the idea of the passion in watching and following the sport as a whole and following a team, I have you to thank. As pertains to the wine, you know, always love drinking wine. And then you and I, a few years ago, you kind of got me involved again in wine making.
But I mean, as an Italian, you have always cooked with wine. Yeah.
Oh, it's in my blood.
Yeah.
It's in my blood.
Sometimes in your stool.
Sometimes, yeah, it depends. But the idea that we could make wine and make a really good wine and enjoy doing it, and just like the idea that we enjoy spending time together, watching soccer, drinking wine, or just having our families together is always nice. And I think this is a nice little thing that we get to do every once in a while and
share with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to sum it up. You know, it's 2 topics that we don't get to really converse about enough. We have a small circle, and I'll touch upon a few of the folks and kind of got me started and how they're part of that inner circle. But outside of that, like, you kind of always have to poke and prod, like people, you know, going out to a bar, like you're probably not going to run across a lot of, you know, people that are just like casually sipping on a nice glass of red wine. So you kind of limited there, and then, you know, soccer and, you know, football has grown exponentially and become more and more popular in the United States. But it's kind of like you gotta get a feeler out, like needing an outlet to talk about it, and what better ways to do this uninterrupted, and
that's true,
you know, bring it to the people. So my love of soccer starts with my cousin Anthony. Hopefully a lot of these people that I'm going to kind of name drop we're hoping to get on subsequent episodes, but Anthony was studying for the bar, and he would leave himself Saturday mornings. That would be his time off from studying, and the only thing really that was on besides Saturday morning cartoons, which was a little old for, was the English Premier League. So he fell in love with Liverpool, and thus kind of brought me into the fold. And at first I was reluctant a bit. Like, it was never my thing. Like, I played soccer up at the youth level where it was just a bunch of kids kicking the ball and then someone gets a breakaway.
Right. And I feel like there's also like a weird connotation.
Yeah, there's a stigma with it. Yeah, and kind of that stigma we'll talk about in the next episode. But so he got me in. He was just, you know, always talking about Liverpool, and I was like, okay, like, what, you know, let's see what it's all about. So at first it was just Liverpool. Like, I would watch them, and that was it. And then it ballooned into just like anything I could get my hands on, like any game. Like, I'll watch the Europa League. I'll watch, you know, the FA Cup. Like anything, any league. I've probably got like 6 different streaming services just to get, you know, as much of the games. So
yeah, once you're in it, you realize that it is on almost all the
time. And it's I think like the best bang for your buck. Like, you're, you know, especially like we're having, you know, young kids.
Yeah.
Wake up on Saturday, Sunday morning. You know, sometimes as early as 7:30. You watch it for 2 hours, like, you know, 2 45-minute halves, and you're done. You got the rest of the day, and like while you're in it. There's, you know, there's obviously like stoppages, but there's no like commercial breaks. There's no TV timeouts. It's just like
We've said it. It's probably the best sporting product on TV.
100%.
Next to hockey, and even hockey has more breaks.
It does, but anyway, so that's where it stemmed from, and then as I met my now wife, I was brought into her family, and her brother, Justin, who we again hope to have on, was as a Manchester United fan, and, you know, as a Liverpool fan, we still get along swimmingly, but he was, again, one of those outlets that I could start talking about soccer with, and then subsequently was the one who got me into the wine game. I knew nothing about wine, wanted nothing to do with it, and it was a little bit of an uphill climb to kind of really get into it. I still, like, we'll kind of review these, and I'll try and taste the notes, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but
you know what you like, and
You know,
you
exactly,
can understand like
If
what's
it's-
good, what's bad, and,
right.
and
So we'll give you that. But yeah, so he got me into the drinking aspect of it, brought me to a couple Connecticut vineyards, and then eventually turned that into the making aspect of it, which I still do to this day.
And when you say like winemaking, people might think, oh, like you put some juice in a bin.
Do
and
you
some
crush
sugar.
it with your feet?
Yeah. No,
No,
this
bitch.
is a legit operation. This is as legit as you can be in someone's garage and basement.
Yeah.
There's science involved. There's like a guy with a notebook and like test tubes. Like it's not just
Damn near just missing the lab coats.
yeah. Like
But,
we're like there's tarps down. Like it's
I mean, every year,
legit.
every year we've done something to improve the process, and hats off to my brother-in-law's. You know, it is at his house, and in that week between crushing and pressing, it's all on his shoulders, and he does an amazing job with it, and we maximize the product, and we've turned out a damn good product over the last few years, and hope to continue to do so, for years to come. So that's where we're both coming from, and why we wanted to do this. So we'll do it as long as we can, and hope you guys enjoy it. But now that we've kind of let the wine settle a bit, kind of give a do you feel it's changed at all?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely like smoothed out. The first sip was like very hard, almost like a medicinal. I fucking hate cherry medicine, and that's what it reminded me of the first sip. But now it's like mellowed out. It's smoother. It's a little warmer. It's not as like cutting.
It's definitely, yeah, I agree. It's mellowed out a bit. It's still got that little pepperiness on the back end, or like that dry finish. But yeah, it's definitely mellowed out. It's got good mouthfeel and good legs on it. So I mean, solid for, what would you say, it was like $16?
I think Wine.com had it for $15.99.
$15.99. You can hear that luscious pour that's probably on the audio. Again, that's the one of the other beauties of Portuguese wine is that, I mean, you're always knocking around like the $10 to $20 range, and they are just absolute gems. So
Yeah, we're lucky to be in an area where there is like a lot of Portuguese wines available. I mean, we're in Massachusetts, so it's very high Portuguese population. Small little markets, you can get really good bottles for less than $10. Little mom and pop places.
Well, oh yeah, it's scratching me where I itch.
Right?
Yeah.
Big Nacional guy.
Oh yeah, but you that dry finish.
I want to make you that T-shirt.
What?
It's like the Portuguese colors and just this big Nacional guy, like with the accentos, like where it should be, and
So
just wear it around.
I wanted to, since the wine we're making now, I wanted to call it Nacional Male Enhancement. That was my idea for the wine that I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, it's not overpowering. Like, it's not like there's like no moisture left in my mouth, but it definitely has that nice dry finish.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we've circled back to the wine, I want to bring us to one of the standing items we're going to have for each episode, which is each week we are going to select a team. We'll start with the Premier League.
We're gonna do Premier League first.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to pick a team each week, and independently, we're both going to decide who we think on that team has the most punchable face.
It's like, in a way, like we're kind of like pieces of shit for doing this.
We are.
Because it's like the most shallow.
I do feel bad because, like, I'm sure, like, all these people, like, they've got families. They're probably just, like, wholesome individuals. But, like,
Families.
and, like, we never, like, actually want to punch them in the face, or would we? Because they'd probably all beat the living shit out of us. But, no. Dude, they're in such good shape.
I've got the points I'm going to bring up today.
All right. Well, anyway, so
They're all professional athletes. We'll say that.
Take this with a grain of salt. Like, our utmost sincerity, we have all the respect in the world for these athletes, but
It is humor based.
it is, yeah, they just have a face you want to hit, and our reasons may be different every week.
It could be.
You could just look like it's a face that you just like, fuck, I just want to hit that
Yeah.
face, or it could be, which we'll get into. It could be a variety of reasons.
Yeah, maybe they scored a huge goal on the team that you support, and you're like, oh, that fucking good.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's
yeah,
that.
there is that.
Or maybe someone is they just look the way that you're. I'm sure that we're going to go through. You and I are thinkers, and I think we'll
Yeah,
do well
this
with
is what the world needs is people to decide who should get punched in the face.
Yeah, professional athletes making millions of dollars. Screw them. We're in a basement.
Drinking wine in a basement while our kids are asleep.
So, Mike, where are we going to start today in the Premier League?
Well, and there's obviously going to be personal biases, but we're going to start with Man City.
Okay, Man City,
And
one of the most successful programs
Correct.
in the last decade.
coached by arguably probably one of the greatest coaches.
Correct.
221 potential infractions on financial fair play aside,
Oil money.
But yeah, I think we'll start with them, and yeah, let's dive into who. Now you said you had a couple. Let's start with one.
Okay.
Because we don't want to go down like the rabbit hole.
No, we don't want to really go down.
As Cookie is I'm sorry, that's my nickname for Ryan. We won't get into that, but is just scrolling, looking through the entire roster, and I think his fists are bound now.
Yeah, no, I'm angry.
Okay.
Now, starting with Man City, we have our different reasons for who we picked, but we both have the same answer. That, of course, is who is it, Mike?
Well, the first one is gonna be
Phil Foden. Yeah. Fuck that guy. Just clear winner. But for the sake of entertainment, we couldn't just bash on one person too hard, even though that is the clear winner. You want me to start?
Well, I mean, you can. He is the clear winner. He wasn't going to be my pick, but I'll let you go if you want to sound off on Phil Foden, and then I'll chime in where I feel.
Because
This is the sole.
that's not my answer.
Oh, that's not your
No,
answer.
I have someone else. But Phil Foden is the correct answer. If we were playing like Family Feud, we would have gotten the most points.
Oh, most voted for.
Yeah, most voted for.
So all right. Before you get into that, since we're in agreement, this is the first time we're doing this. It's like, it is just his face.
His face is it bothers
And
me.
he's got a big forehead.
He's got a
but
fucking cement head.
But he's just got like this like dopey Eminem haircut. If he grew his hair, which I think he might be, if he just grew his hair out, he wouldn't look as ridiculous. But he's just got like this furrowed brow with this just monster 14-inch forehead.
Right, but his head's also sneaky small.
I mean, not from the eyebrows up.
No, that's a.
So you just kind of want to put on a classy big ring and just plant one right square.
He's got
in
the
his eye.
eyebrow shave thing going on. He looks like he's a shithead 15-year-old kid. Apparently, he has children.
Yeah, how old is he? I mean, 15, but it's 20 something, 20.
Maybe 23, 24. He's not old.
What a piece of shit.
This doesn't tell me their age, or their height. That was also going to play into my choice. All right, my choice. Who is the most punchable face on Man City? Phil Foden. But if I had to choose someone other than the clear winner, I'd go with Jack Grealish.
Wow.
And for all intents and purposes, I loved Jack Grealish on Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, scrappy team. He was just a phenom coming on the scene, always going forward.
But that's the Aston Villa was built around him. I think I've talked about this. Same thing with Lukaku for Everton. Everyone's like, Lukaku's this phenomenal athlete. It's yeah, when you build fucking 10 guys around playing style around one guy, he's gonna look great. And he's obviously, it took him a little bit. But, all right, let's.
And Jack Grealish chased the money, went to Man City.
Yeah.
Same thing with John Stones, who is my close runner-up.
Wow. They're going after the English.
But Jack Grealish, if you look at his picture on the Manchester City page, one, I think he might always be hammered. Because I know he got after it hard.
Oh, yeah.
They had to do what the Bruins did with Tyler Sagan and Brad Marchand. No, you gotta go away for a few days. You gotta slow it down. He's always got the fucking thing on his head, the hair band. His hair's not that long.
I mean, not for nothing, you guys probably have the same.
We probably have the same. So maybe he has really thick hair like I do, in which case, I get it.
Yeah.
He just looks like a shithead high school kid. Maybe I'm projecting.
For background, Ryan is a high school teacher. And
he just looks like a kid who, grew up with money. Just, his smile just has this, shit-eating grin. And I don't think he's a big guy. I think he's, very diminutive. He might be shorter than me. I don't think he's taller than 5'10".
Oh, definitely not.
So, like, he's the type of guy that
Dude,
looks...
like Virgil van Dijk's like 6'4"?
Yeah.
Not even?
He looks like a guy that would say something to you at a bar, and with the face that's in this picture here, you just want to, like, 5 fingers across the... just, like, bounce his forehead off the bar top.
I bet you he's scrappy, though. Like, I don't think he's an easy knockout. So...
Yeah, because at that point, he's
So,
probably
like-
got enough booze flowing through his veins.
Yeah, he's...
that-
I mean, if anything, if we were going for these guys, it would just be like the sucker punch and run. Like, I'm not sticking around to square up. This is just like a one good, like, free shot, which actually, I don't know if you remember, when he played for Aston Villa, a fan from the opposing team ran into the field and, like, tried to, like, punch him in the face.
Yeah, well, see? On to something.
So, yeah,
On
there
to
you go.
something.
Yeah,
All right.
I was actually-
So
the
enough of me
connection's there.
trashing on Jack Grealish and his just pure physical appearance. Mike, who's your choice?
My choice is Erling Haaland.
Ah, that was my number 3. Okay, lay it on. He is...
Not only is it maybe because he just looks like he's got a perpetual fat lip, or lips. So
Very
it looks like-
plump, very plump lips.
Yeah, but the fact that he just walked into the Premier League, and again, walked into not just any team, he walked into, the best team in the league, for several years running. He walked into a team that had players like De Bruyne and Gundogan just like throwing fucking dimes to him.
His eyes are very close together.
Well, yeah. So maybe if you like kind of catch him at the roundhouse, he's not going to see it coming because the peripherals aren't great. But yeah, he just like walks in, breaks, pretty much like every record. Like, have some goddamn humility, you stupid son of a bitch.
It's a big no.
Here's the other thing,
He's a big
and
kid.
people will probably disagree. I don't think he's that technically gifted either. I just think he's a freak athlete. He's huge and fast and fucking strong. So, like...
Oh, that brings up, like, another good point of, like, freak athlete versus technically sound.
Yeah.
And he's a freak. He's a
freak
big guy.
athlete. And, like, he hits it with immense power. So, like, you put it on target...
Yeah, he's got all the energy of the freaking...
Yeah.
The Vikings behind him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is, like, Eric the Red, reincarnated. But
Yeah.
he just, like, he's... Like, you throw a ball, like, up in the air. He's going to damn near jump, like, 4 feet into the air and get his foot on it or his head on it. So, again, it's that athleticism. He'll catch on the break with his speed, so it's just sheer pace. And if you put a ball up to him, he can kind of body most defenders because he's stronger. So I don't think he's, like... I've never seen him, like, really on the ball, like, dancing and making
give someone,
players
like,
look
a
foolish.
1-2.
It's just, like, he's just... in the right place at the right time, and he's just a freak athlete.
I can't help but notice that your points you brought up were based on like playing physical attributes, whereas I'm just like, look at this fucking guy.
There's gonna be, well, I mean, I was in the Phil Foden, like he just looks, looks dopey. But no, my just like you have to like, you gotta earn it your dues. At like it was just he just fucking walked all over the league.
Yeah.
And he scored a couple hat tricks on just
being in the right place.
relegate bound teams. So yeah, my pick for most punchable face for Man City is none other than Erling Haaland. We just found out that Phil Foden and his wife went as Ken and Barbie, so back up to the top of the list of most punchable face.
Oh, I mean, he's always at the top.
Is the just needs to like give him some bangs or some shit, something.
Yeah, he's
just got to cover that.
Someone's gonna like
fucking
advise
forehead.
him.
Yeah. I feel like just Simba. Just fucking paint it right across the top.
So now that we've like finished absolutely thrashing on the physical appearances of people who make millions of dollars playing a sport that you and I...
They'll never recover from this.
Yeah, no,
they'll never
yeah,
recover
yeah.
from our podcast.
Yeah, find me and fight me. I'd be terrified if Erling Haaland showed up at my door.
Oh, dude.
I'd openly wet my pants.
I would defecate. I would just like play dead, like because I feel like he probably has the same senses as like a bear. So if I just like curl up in the fetal position and just shit myself, maybe he'll just like leave me alone. I feel like that's yeah.
Right? Grizzlies you play dead. Black bears you gotta get big. He ain't a black bear.
No, he's grizzly. Yeah, that's grizzly. Yeah.
So, as this is our consistent running segment, we start with Man City. Where are we gonna go to next episode? Are we going to go near and dear to our hearts?
I think we have to. I think we thrashed, and I mean, there's again, we have our own personal biases, so there's going to be plenty of teams that we just legitimately don't like.
Correct.
So I think it's only fair that we take the team that's near and dear to our hearts and and run them through the ringer.
Okay.
So with that said, Liverpool is going to be the team that we discuss next week for players that we believe have the most punchable face. It's the first cut is the deepest, right?
First cut is the deepest.
So we'll, but like a Band-Aid, just right off. We'll get it done, and then we never have to talk about it.
Then we can talk about players we absolutely can't stand.
We can just cry into our wine for that episode, and then get back to business. Yeah. So
Speaking of wine,
yes. Let's kind of talk through our final thoughts based on price point, our tastes, etc., things of that nature. Like so, Rye, what's your overall thoughts?
Well, let's see. Obviously, you're a big Nacional guy, big Portuguese wine guy. Solid pick. I'm glad after it's been open now for an hour or so, it's definitely mellowed out.
Yeah.
It's a lot more easy drinking because I was concerned after that first sip.
And full disclosure, all we did, if you're kind of trying, we didn't like pour it into a carafe or anything. We just popped the cork. I threw a little aerator in it. We just poured it into the glass and kind of let it sit for a few minutes before we sipped it. So that was kind of our process at the beginning, just to kind of level set on how it started. But continue.
But yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
it's good. It's definitely mellowed out. It's smoothed out. Way more easy drinking than those first couple sips. So if we were to rank it, right, our ranking system here, officially, unofficially, is out of 10.
Yeah.
I would give this probably a solid, probably 6.7, 6.8. If it was in front of me, I'd drink it, but then again, there's not many things I won't drink if that's in front of me. I think I've definitely had better Portuguese wines.
Yeah.
If it showed the way that it did now, I think I would have given it a higher score, but I am jarred by that first sip.
Yeah, it was a little rough. So 6-7. So yeah, all things considered, I think, $16-17 a bottle, like you're not breaking the bank.
Right.
I think you're absolutely getting what you pay for in this wine. It definitely seems like something that there are wines out there that you pop the cork, you pour it, and it's ready to go. It's legit. This one is, if you are gonna get it, decant it, let it sit, like just kind of pour it, set and forget it, like let it sit for a good 20-30 minutes, come back to it, pour the glass, and enjoy. So I agree. I'd give it a 6.9.
Nice,
yeah. I like the dry finish at the end. The color is just
it is a good looking glass of wine.
It's and like I said, it's got great legs, it's got good mouthfeel. It's not like super watery or anything like that. So I'm gonna do a 6.9. And yeah, so right before we kind of move on, as our goal is to always tell you about the wine that we're going to be drinking next episode, so that potentially if you'd like to, you can go out and buy the bottle and sip it with us.
Join us on this adventure.
Exactly. So what will we be drinking next episode?
So we are staying in the EU. We are going to be drinking a Cantelli Salice Salentino, an Italian wine from the Puglia region. That's the boot. That's the heel, the boot region of Italy. It is a Rosso Riserva. It is 100% Negro Amaro grape. It is gonna be dark. We're going straight up Squid Ink next episode.
And the reason for that, the tie-in, is going to be we are going to be discussing the dark arts, the theatricality of soccer, as it were.
Also, good on us for it's spooky season.
It is spooky
dark
season.
Arts. It's very.
Unfortunately, though, if we are doing it once a month, this episode will be in November. But
join us on this adventure.
Join us on this adventure. We may be a few weeks late. Hey, who knows? We could get two out in this month.
We'll see.
The world is our oyster, so let's just shuck it. We would love to keep going and keep talking, but after VAR review, we're officially out of wine, and thus we'll need to put the final cork in this episode of Vino Volley. So
that was 2 references.
It was no, I know.
I know, that was good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. Just hit you. It's so punny. Yeah. So join us next time for another exciting episode of Vino Volley. If you would like, we do have a Gmail account, so vinovolley85@gmail.com. We do encourage you to reach out to us to maybe share your thoughts on the wine if you've bought it and had a different experience, or if you have reviewed the team of the episode for the upcoming episode and want to weigh in on who you think has the most punchable face. And who knows, if you're...
don't send this to Erling Haaland.
No, don't. Yeah, send it to us, and so we can, potentially read it. I'd love to read. Obviously, it's the first episode, so who knows? But if we do have a following, I would love to read people's thoughts on who has the most punchable face and why on future episodes. So yeah,
really build the anger up.
Yeah, there's not enough anger in the world, so why not point it towards other countries too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So reach out to us at vinovolley85@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at vinovolley85. Right now the page is blank, but the plan is to post pictures of the players potentially that we thought had the most punchable face, as well as the wines that we drank on that episode and future episodes. So if you weren't able to get the name, you have a picture to try and find it at your local liquor store. So with that, I will hand things over to Ryan to send us out.
Yeah, that was great. No, enjoyable glass of wine, good conversation. We may anger a few people, but then, you know what? Just go sit on the bidet for a little bit. Let it cleanse you inside and
bringing it
outside.
full circle. If you're just feeling a little angst,
if you ever want to feel like Ronaldo, just go sit on the bidet for a solid 20
sit down
to 30 seconds.
Pressure wash that hole and just woosah the fuck out of it until it's loose and clean.
Yeah, until you're feeling good in the neighborhood. So until next time, hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next episode. So remember, as always, to sip and soccer responsibly.